Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Secretary and General, thank you for your service. The President addressed the nation Sunday night. Did you hear his address, Mr. Secretary?
I did not. I read it.
Okay. Do you believe that we're at war with ISIL?
I do.
Do you believe they're at war with us? The answer is yes. Yeah. They would hit our homeland if they could.
For sure.
Okay.
They say that. They say that. They indicate that openly.
Is there any place on the planet that you would take off limits when it comes to fighting ISIL?
No, I don't think we can do that for the reasons I said earlier. They are metastasizing everywhere, and everywhere there are information media. There are going to be people who go online who maybe have never been to Syria or Iraq or even know where they are.
The answer is
they only know
no.
where their screen is.
Right. I agree with you. I think that's a very good answer. There's no place on the planet we should give them safe haven. Number two, when it comes to time in terms of this war, when will it end?
As soon as we can possibly bring it to
5 years, 10 years, does anybody know?
Well, I think that
do you want to put a time limit on how long we should fight it?
I think in war it's good to have plans. I think it was Eisenhower.
Here's my question. Are you willing to put a time limit on how long we can fight ISIL?
I think we have to fight ISIL until ISIL's defeated. Perfect. Everywhere.
I couldn't agree with you more. When it comes to means, do you believe this country should use all lawful means when it comes to fighting ISIL, depending on what the circumstances dictate?
Sure.
Do you think Raqqa, Syria will be in the hands of ISIL by January 2017, more or less likely?
I'm sorry, you said which ones?
Do you think Raqqa, Syria will be in the hands of ISIL?
Oh, I very much hope that it won't. Well, that
you think it's more
will either
likely
not be in the hands of ISIL, or that their control will be substantially eroded.
Okay,
I hope that. I can't guarantee that. You can't guarantee anything anymore, but that's certainly an objective.
We all
as soon
agree.
as possible.
We all hope, but we're not going to get there on hope. So you're a good man. I'm not trying to fight you here. Here's what I've done. I'm making an offer to our president that I believe this war is going to go on for a long time after his presidency. I believe that they're going to go wherever they can on the planet, and that we should stop them wherever necessary. And when it comes to means, we should not limit this commander-in-chief or any other commander-in-chief when it comes to means. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do.
So I have an authorization to use military force, Senator King. It's not limited by geography. It's not, could you put it up, please? It's not limited by geography, time, or location. It represents a theory that this president and future presidents need to have the same capabilities against ISIL as we gave that existed after 9/11 regarding al-Qaeda. So I agree with Senator King that the Congress should be involved. I am answering the request of the President to get involved. And here's the question. As Secretary of Defense, could you support an authorization using military force that has no limit on geography, time, or lawful means when it comes to destroying ISIL?
Well, I'm not going to invent a new AUMF here. This is the first time I've studied yours. I'm sorry to say. I did support the President's AUMF for two principal reasons. The first was because I thought it could, exactly as you say, permit us to conduct the campaign that we need to do to defeat ISIL, and that's critical. It did have a time dimension in it, which
from a military point of view, General, do you think saying you're going to have a time dimension is probably a wrong signal to send to the enemy?
The context of the time signal makes a difference. I would prefer not to have one.
Okay.
So I could say to them, I'm going to prosecute you anywhere I find you.
Oh, that's what I want to say. I want to say to this President that I want to give you the tools, that time is no factor when it comes to destroying ISIL, and location doesn't mean a damn thing. We're after you wherever you go, as long as it takes whatever is required to defeat you. That's the statement I think America needs to make. Is that a fair statement, Mr. Secretary? As whatever it takes, as long as it takes, wherever we need to go to destroy you when it comes to ISIL.
Well, I mean, that's okay from the point of view of conducting the military campaign. You have to get the votes.
No, I know.
Yeah,
but you know what? I'm not asking you to vote.
I'm not going to try to craft what can be passed here, Senator. I've testified in favor of the AUMF. The president
Would you vote for this?
submitted.
Would you vote for this?
I don't know. I'm seeing it for the first time. I'm
Well, as
not a senator.
Secretary of Defense, do you support the concept that the president has?
I support an AUMF that the president submitted
You
that gives
support
us the authority to wage the war that we need to wage. That's
Mr.
the important
Secretary,
thing.
Do you support the concept, the authority, that this president should have no time limits placed on his ability to fight the war? Do you support that concept?
Well, I think the AUMF as submitted only recognizes that his term of office
I'm not
comes
asking
to
you
an
about
end
his AUMF.
in a year.
Right, I agree with that. Do you agree the next president, whoever he or she may be, should have a AUMF not limited by time? That's just a smart decision from the military point of view. Do you agree with that?
Well, it's not.
Are you as Secretary of Defense telling me that you want to put limits in terms of time regarding how long
I'm
we
trying to
fight?
explain to you why, as I explained to this committee before, why I understood that there was the 3-year time thing.
I'm not asking you
in
about
the provision, and it was not for a military reason.
Okay, right,
It was in deference to a future president.
Yeah, okay.
And you can agree or disagree with
Right.
that, but that was the reason why it was included in there, and that was a political reason,
Right.
having to do
From
with
a
our
military point
constitutional
of view,
system, not a military reason.
From a
Okay with
military, listen to me, please. From a military point of view, you don't want time limits.
I don't think we can. I don't.
From
I
a
think
military point of view, you don't want geographical limits.
yeah, I don't. We don't. We can't have
And
geographic.
from a military point of view, you don't want to take means off the table that are lawful when it comes to destroying
and
us.
that are useful to this campaign.
So to the Congress, if you don't like what this president or future president does in terms of fighting ISIL, defund it. That's your job. I am making a simple proposition to this president that I will give you whatever you need in terms of my authorization to go wherever you need to go, as long as it takes to use whatever available tools you have within legal limits to destroy this threat. Mr. President, are you all in or not? Now, the Secretary of Defense seems to be indicating this is good military policy. To my colleagues on the other side, if we produce an authorization to use military force restricted by time, means, or geography, you're sending a message to the enemy I will not send. You're restricting our ability to defend this homeland, which is an imminent attack is coming. So I want to have this debate, like Senator Kaine has suggested, and it is imperative that the Congress get off the sidelines. Tim Kaine and I may have a different outcome, but you're absolutely right. Let's have a discussion. Let the enemy know without hesitation there's no limitations on time, means, or location when it comes to destroying ISIL. Mr. President, embrace this authorization for you and future presidents because the country needs it. Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary and General, for your fine service.
Senator Blumenthal.